Hello and welcome back. In the last videos we learned about Boolean expressions, statements that evaluate either to true or false. But knowing that something is true or false is only half the story. The real power comes when we use that information to let our code make decisions, and that's exactly what we'll learn today with if, elif and else. Think of an if statement like a door in your code. The condition after if decides whether the door opens or stays closed. If the condition is true, the door opens and the code inside runs. If the condition is false, the door stays closed and the code block is skipped completely. Each if is its own independent door. Some may open, some may stay closed, depending only on their condition. Now let's introduce else. You can think of else as a reliable fallback. It doesn't ask any questions. It doesn't care why something failed. It simply runs when the if condition is false. So in this case, the if condition is true, so the else is being skipped. In this case, the if condition is false, and therefore the else part is being executed. Sometimes a simple fallback isn't enough. Maybe we want multiple possible paths instead of just two. That's where elif comes in. It allows us to add more conditions before reaching the final fallback. An if, elif, else chain is checked from top to bottom. The first condition that is true gets executed and the rest are skipped, even if they are also true. Even though both conditions are true, only the first one in the chain is being executed and the rest is being skipped. In this case, the second option is being used because the first if is false, so it falls back to this elif. And in this case, because the if is false and the elif is false, so we default to else. So remember, top to bottom, first true wins, everything else is ignored. So far, we've only used true and false directly. That was perfect for understanding how the structure works. But in real programs, we don't just write true or false. We use Boolean expressions, questions that result in true or false. This is a Boolean expression. It evaluates to true or false, and the if decision is based on that result. So in this case, because we initialize health with 0 right here, this Boolean expression down here will evaluate to true. And therefore, the code block of this if statement is being executed. In this example, we go through the same steps. We look at the Boolean expression, we check the value of the variable, and we evaluate the Boolean expression to either true or false, in this case false, and therefore this if block here is skipped and the else block is being executed. In this case, we have added an elif and we look at the score. The value is 75 and therefore we go through the chain and start with if. So this is being resolved to false because the score is lower than 100. Then we evaluate this one and this one evaluates to true. And therefore this elif block is being executed and the rest is being skipped. One last important idea. If statements can also be nested, placed inside other if statements. This allows us to create decisions inside decisions. Here we have a door inside another door. The outer decision must be true before the inner one even matters. So your code can make layered decisions, going deeper only when previous conditions allow it. And just one important thing to remember. Only because you can nest if statements doesn't mean you should. Deep complex logic is much more prone to errors and bugs. Try to keep your decisions clean and simple. Most of the time a clear if with an else and sometimes a few elif is all you really need. Nesting is a powerful option for rare edge cases you might encounter in the future, not something to overuse. And yes, you can chain as many elif statements as you want between if and else. In the next video, we are going to exercise this a little bit to get a feeling for the syntax and just for the whole system. And after that, we are going to do a bunch of practice projects. Thank you for watching and see ya in the next one. Bye bye.